Hello friends and family of YouTube, it's Travis again, and here recently I've had 2 or 3 different people ask me, are there any easy hikes that I can do in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park? I do realize that not everybody can get out and do some of these longer, more strenuous hikes, but there are a few shorter ones that you can get some great views and have a good time and experience the Smokies. So I was going to go ahead and give you my list of the top 5 easiest hikes to do in the Smoky Mountain National Park. And number 1 on my list to start with is here at the Cades Cove picnic area, because there is plenty of parking and the water is right over here. I'll give you a shot of that in just a second. But the trailhead starts here and it goes up to Crib Gap Trail and then on up to Anthony Creek if you want to go a little farther. So let me give you a couple of shots of this one to let you know why I think this is one of the easier ones to hike. All right, as I mentioned, one of the main reasons is there is plenty of parking. It's right here next to Cades Cove. Plenty of picnic tables and spots that you can bring a lunch or cook out. You're right here next to the water, so you get a lot of scenic views and you don't have to really walk that far from your truck. But let's go up here. I want to show you the trail real quick. So as you can see, it's pretty much just a gravel road. So it's wide, it's flat. Incline is not too horrible on this. And when we get up here, I'll show you some views of the water. So this trail does follow the river up to the, actually up to Anthony Creek campground area. So we'll go look at that in just a second. Here's just a little pull-off area. You see the trail getting over here to the water. So pretty nice little view. You see the sun starting to peek through the trees as it's rising this morning. Always an awesome sight. Here's another little spot next to the water. And here's a really good spot where you can get close to the water. Alright, so it's only 2/10 of a mile from where we started to get to this point. So this trail takes you up to Crib Gap Trail over to Turkey Pen Ridge. And then if you go to the right, this takes you to Anthony Creek. So there is a camping area up here, and it's specially designed for people who have horses. This is a great horse riding trail. Let's go up here and check out the campground area real quick if there's nobody up here. All right, so this is the campground area. This is where you can actually tie up your horses while you're here. Got some picnic tables and fire pit. Also has restroom facilities, trash bins. And this particular location, the last 2 times I've been up here, I have seen a bear, so I'm kind of keeping my head on a swivel. So you can see this pathway stays fairly level, not a ton of incline, fairly wide. It does still start to get a little rougher as you go. I'm not going to go up all the way. I just want to kind of show you that you can walk up here. I think there's some water up here close that we'll go check out. There's a couple of big bridges to go across, but yeah, if you can't hike that far and but you still want to get out and experience the Smokies and see the river and just be out in nature, this is not a bad trail to choose. Usually there are people back there camping. Like I said, that is a popular spot for people, especially that ride horses. So just be mindful of that. But here's a shot of the water. All right, so that's number one on the list. I'm not saying that that is my number one selection. It just happens to be the first stop that I went to. So that is the Cades Cove picnic area, and you go up to basically the top of that circle and park. You'll see where the trailhead starts, and then you can walk up here as far as you want. Now you can take this all the way up Anthony Creek. It goes all the way up to the AT, but that's a hike, and it definitely gets a lot worse. So this would be one of those you just go as far as you want and then turn around, and but still be able to get a decent hike in for the day. But let's move on to the next stop. All right, so second on my list of easiest hikes in the Smokies is Middle Prong Trail. And this is actually probably one of my favorites, just for the fact that, as you can see, it does have a little bit of incline, but it's fairly wide, at least for the first section of the trail. And this trail will go as far as you want it to, so I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're in for a rugged hike, because the trail does get a lot rougher, more narrow, and the distance on this is kind of incredible. You can actually hike up to Indian Flats Falls, which is about a 4-mile hike up and 4 miles back, so 8 miles round trip. Wouldn't recommend that. But you can also go up to the old, I think it's a Cadillac, that's parked up there. That's about a 2-mile hike in and back out, so 4 miles round trip. But I was going to show you, like, this trail follows the river for quite a ways, so there's lots of spots where you can stop off and see the water. So lots of scenic views. I mean, we're literally, like, right here's the bridge that we just came across, so lots of nice scenery. You can hear the water running. So this is a great trail. Just hike as far as you want and then turn around and come back. The one downfall I would say of this trail is it's a gravel road getting up here. It's probably about a 15-minute drive, and it is a little rough. You do have to go across a couple of one-way bridges, but there is quite a bit of parking down here. Now it does depend, what time of day, and if you're on the weekend it can get a little crowded, but still overall a really nice hike. Let's go up here and get some other shots of the water so I can show you what this looks like. All right, so I'm not going to hike this all the way in because I've done this trail multiple times, but just to give you a shot, you can see the water down below. And this trail does follow the river for quite a ways. Like I said, just hike it until you get tired, turn around. Just make sure to keep up with your mileage, because this trail can just keep going, like I said. But anyway, there is plenty of parking down there. Assuming you're not up here on one of those days where it's just overly crowded. The trail does have an incline on it, but as you can see, it's fairly wide until you get up here to the farther parts of the trail. You do have to drive that gravel road to get up here. It is for about a 15-minute drive, and it is a little rough with a couple of one-lane bridges. But again, here's another shot of the water down below. Just a cool trail. Like I said, hike in about a mile and a half, turn around, and you've got a good hike in the Smokies. And even if you can't walk that far, just park and go to the bridge. There's some scenic views. You can get down to the water. So this is definitely one of my favorites. So let's move on to the next one. All right, number 3 on the list is Little River Trail. And out of all of the trails that I'm recommending out of these 5, this is probably the easiest. Let me show you here real quick. Just to let you know, this is not the Troll Bridge, which is one of the things that I was going to show you on this trail, but it's like right at the beginning of that, the start of this trail, you see that, right? So, but anyway, as I was saying, this is one of the, probably the easiest trail. As you can see, it's a gravel driveway for most of the way up here, fairly flat. A lot of people hike this one, so you don't have to worry just being out here by yourself. It goes up next to the water, and I'm not going to go all the way up here, but I'll probably try to edit in some scenes from where I've hiked this in the past. But I did want to at least take you up here and show you where the troll bridge actually is, so that you can see that. So let me give me just a couple minutes to get up here. It's not that far of a walk. So there are a few of these foundations that are left from some of the cabins that were up here earlier in the day, or back in the day. You see the chimney foundations. And then here's a shot of the water from right here. Alright, so this is where the troll bridge veers off at. Literally like 5 minutes to get from the trailhead to this point. Let's go back here and take a look. And here it is. It's what's known as the troll bridge. Pretty cool. I'm always fascinated by bridges in general, but this one, for some reason, I just think's pretty awesome. So anyway, you can walk up here. It's like a 5-minute walk, if that much, and check this out. And then I'm gonna edit in some pictures of the water, some of the scenes from where I've hiked this before. There's a couple of bridges you can go across up there, but it's a much longer hike, and the trail actually gets a lot rougher the farther you go. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. All right, so number 4 on the list is Jake's Creek Trail. So this one is, well, I keep saying that it's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites because there's a lot to see here. And as you can see, the first part of the trail is an old road bed. It's gravel. It does have a little bit of an incline on it. And this trail goes on for quite a ways also. So I wouldn't recommend hiking the whole thing unless that's, you know, definitely what you're looking for. But one of the cool things about this is there's several different things around here in this area to see, and I'm going to show you a couple of them here real quick. So the first thing is there's several of these old foundations that are left from some of the original cabins that were up here, and the chimneys, which I don't know why I'm so fascinated by these, but the fact that like these are one of the few things standing, and you'll see quite a few of them on this trail. The other thing is it's right here next to the water, so it's several places where you can get a really good view of the river itself. And then I'm gonna head back down here and show you a couple other things. That trail goes on up. There's more of these, and it actually goes up to, gosh, well, it goes up for a ways, but you can go up to a place called Avent Cabin. I would say that one's a lot more difficult to get across because you have to go across the river. There's a bridge, and then you have to hike up into the woods some. So that is something a lot of people don't know about. If you're looking for an easy hike, I probably wouldn't do that on this one. But here's some other things down here that you can go look at that are right walking distance within the parking area, and there is quite a bit of parking. So you'll see that there is a bridge down here, which has a good view of the water, which is something that you can stop and see, take some photos. And then also, one of the cool things is they've got the road that actually exits out of this particular location, goes through a row of cabins that people used to come up here and stay, but now they're open to the public. Like, you can literally go in and see the inside of those. So anyway, hope you enjoy those, but that's one cool thing about this. There's just a lot of things to see in a short period of time and a short walking distance. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Now we're going to head on to the last stop of the day. All right, so last on the list, but definitely not the least, is Metcalf Bottoms Trail over to the Walker Sisters cabin. So this hike is about 3.5 miles, I think, round trip. So one of the longer ones by far. But, and as you can see, it does have some incline. So probably one of the more difficult out of the group. But if you're looking for a short trail where you actually get to be out in the woods and see some cool sights, this is one that I would definitely recommend. You do park down at Metcalf Bottoms picnic area, so there is plenty of parking. Of course, there's picnic tables and places for you to cook. But you do have to walk across the bridge to get over to the trailhead. And there was a lot of traffic, so I had to wait this morning. But anyway, this trail takes you up to the little Greenbrier Schoolhouse and then on over to the Walker Sisters cabin. So I'm not going to hike all that today because I was trying to get all these stops done in one morning, which I have done. All right, so that was my top 5 picks for the easiest hikes here in the Smoky Mountains. Like I said, most of these you don't want to hike all the way to the end because some of them are extremely long and they will take a while, and the trails definitely get a lot more rugged. But if you start out at the trailhead and walk just maybe a mile or so in, you can do a short hike, still see plenty of nature, water, different scenes. So I'll try to put in a link to those hikes that I've done in the past, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. Some of those I did early on using my old GoPro 5, so the audio and video the quality is not as good as it could be, but at least you'll get an idea of what those look like if you ever want to take the full hike in. Also, I did have to edit some of the scenery in from those previous hikes to put in here because I didn't do the full hikes, but I did make all 5 stops today this morning. So looking at my time, it is 10:47 a.m. I started around 7 o'clock this morning, so not too bad. But hopefully that will give you a good idea of what these trails look like, and hopefully maybe some recommendations if you're visiting from out of town, or even if you're here local and you're like, man, where can I go to get like just a quick hike in experience the Smokies. Highly recommend all of these. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Also ask that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost anything. It'll just give you a notification the next time I publish another video. But until next time, just keep walking.